Trump just dropped the hammer on three of America's biggest trading partners. Starting February 4, 2025, at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time, here's what's happening. 25% tariff on everything coming in from Canada and Mexico. 10% tariff on all Chinese imports. Canadian energy, oil and natural gas gets a lighter hit, 10% instead of 25%, so gas and heating prices in the US don't go through the roof. 10% on energy seems to be a cautious move, with Americans already struggling with high living costs and one of Trump's campaign promises being to lower those costs. He might have thought of not angering his voters. These tariffs are all about forcing Canada and Mexico to crack down on illegal immigration and drug trafficking, specifically fentanyl, the powerful opioid fueling the crisis in America. Trump claims that Canada is letting Chinese fentanyl sneak into the US through its borders. Mexico's government is turning a blind eye to drug cartels, letting them flood America with narcotics. Since Canada supplies 60% of the US crude oil, he cut them a break on energy tariffs, because let's be real, no one wants gas prices spiking. Whether or not these claims hold up, Trump is using trade as a weapon to push other countries to bend to his will. Tariffs equals Trump's favorite power move. If there's one thing we know about Trump, it's that he loves using tariffs as leverage. He's done it before, and now he's doing it again, hoping to pressure these countries into making policy concessions. These tariffs are on top of the ones already in place. And if Canada, Mexico, or China fight back, Trump says he'll jack up the tariffs even more. This is classic Trump: hit hard, force the other side to the table, and if they push back, hit even harder. So, what's next? How did Canada respond? Well, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was not having it. He, along with his ministers, held a press conference on Parliament Hill, gave a speech, and basically said, "Hey America, this is gonna hurt you just as much as it hurts us."
Tonight, first, I want to speak directly to Americans, our closest friends and neighbors. This is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people. As I have consistently said, tariffs against Canada will put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at the grocery stores and gas at the pump. They will impede your access to an affordable supply of vital goods crucial for U.S. security, such as nickel, potash, uranium, steel, and aluminum. They will violate the free trade agreement that the President and I, along with our Mexican partner, negotiated and signed a few years ago. But it doesn't have to be this way.
What he said is that while these tariffs will hurt Canada, they will also damage the U.S. economy by threatening American jobs, especially in auto and manufacturing sectors, driving up prices for food, gas, and other essentials, disrupting U.S. supply chains, particularly for critical materials like nickel, uranium, steel, and aluminum. This was a smart move. Instead of picking a fight, Trudeau reminded Americans that this could cost them jobs, raise prices, and even shut down auto plants. And honestly, he's got a point. Now, Trump says these tariffs are about border security and fentanyl. But Trudeau, he shut that down real quick.
Let's take a moment to talk about our shared border. Our border is already safe and secure, but there's always more work to do. Less than 1% of fentanyl, less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States come from Canada. But hearing concerns from both Canadians and Americans, including the American president himself, we're taking action. We launched a $1.3 billion border plan that is already showing results, because we too are devastated by the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that has torn apart communities and caused so much pain and torment for countless families across Canada, just like in the United States. A drug that we too want to see wiped from the face of this earth. A drug whose traffickers must be punished. As neighbors, we must work collaboratively to fix this. Unfortunately, the actions taken today by the White House split us apart instead of bringing us together.
Here's what he said. Less than 1% of illegal fentanyl in the U.S. comes from Canada. Less than 1% of illegal border crossings into the US come from Canada. Canada has already spent $1.3 billion on border security, and it's working. So yeah, blaming Canada for this problem. Not exactly fair. Trudeau didn't just deny the accusations, he acknowledged the fentanyl crisis and showed that Canada is actually doing something about it. And here's where it gets interesting. Canada is firing back.
Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives.
Trudeau made it very clear, if the US wants to play hardball, Canada's ready. $30 billion in immediate tariffs start Tuesday, February 4th. $125 billion more in 3 weeks so Canadian businesses can adjust.
Like the American tariffs, our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, including orange juice, along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. It'll include major consumer products like household appliances, furniture, and sports equipment, and materials like lumber and plastics, along with much, much more.
These tariffs hit America where it hurts, on beer, bourbon, wine, orange juice, fruits, veggies, clothing, and shoes. Appliances, furniture, sports gear, lumber, and plastics. Trudeau isn't just throwing punches, he's being strategic. He knows Trump could crank up tariffs even more, so he's keeping things measured while making sure the pain is felt on the US side too. And then, Trudeau switched gears and spoke directly to Canadians.
With all that said, I also want to speak directly to Canadians in this moment. I'm sure many of you are anxious, but I want you to know we are all in this together. The Canadian government, Canadian businesses, Canadian organized labor, Canadian civil society, Canada's premiers, and tens of millions of Canadians from coast to coast to coast are aligned and united. This is Team Canada at its best. And now is also the time to choose Canada. There are many ways for you to do your part. It might mean checking the labels at the supermarket and picking Canadian-made products. It might mean opting for Canadian rye over Kentucky bourbon, or foregoing Florida orange juice altogether. It might mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada and explore the many national and provincial parks, historical sites, and tourist destinations our great country has to offer.
Basically, he's asking them to stand together and stop buying American products. Here's what he told them. Choose Canadian products instead of American ones. Pick Canadian rye instead of Kentucky bourbon. Ditch Florida orange juice and buy local. Vacation in Canada instead of going to the US. This isn't just about money, it's about national pride. Trudeau is turning this trade war into a rallying cry for Canada. Now, here's the part that's kinda funny, but also kinda concerning. Trudeau revealed that he's been trying to call Trump, but Trump won't pick up.
It's been since the inauguration that I've been reaching out to speak with Donald Trump. I hope to speak with him sometime soon.
So what's going on here? Is Trump avoiding him? Is this part of some bigger game plan? Either way, Trudeau is keeping the door open for talks, but so far, it's been radio silence from the White House. Here's something a lot of people might not be thinking about. Trudeau's speech wasn't just about tariffs, it was about defending Canada's sovereignty. And this isn't coming out of nowhere. Trump has repeatedly made offhand remarks about Canada becoming the 51st state of America.
Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We're spending hundreds of billions a year to take care of Canada. We lose in trade deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. You know, they make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in Detroit. We don't need the cars. We don't need their lumber. We have massive fields of lumber. We don't need their lumber. We have to unrestrict them because stupid people put, restrictions on, but I can do that with an executive order. We don't need anything they have. We don't need their dairy products. We have more than they have. We don't need anything. So why are we losing $200 billion a year and more to protect Canada? And I said that to, as I called him, Governor Trudeau. I said, listen, what would happen if we didn't subsidize you, if we didn't, because we give them a lot of money. We help them. As an example, we're buying icebreakers, and Canada wants to join us in the buying of icebreakers. I said, we don't really want to have a partner in the buying of icebreakers. We don't need a partner. But no right. Nope, no right. Here's what we have. We have a right not to help them with their financial difficulties because we owe $36 trillion too. We're going to start knocking it out pretty fast, but we're going to be able to do it because of energy and other things. But no right. No right. But why are we supporting a country, $200 billion plus a year? Our military is at their disposal. All of these other things, they should be a state. That's why I told Trudeau when he came down, I said, what would happen if we didn't do it? He said Canada would dissolve. Canada wouldn't be able to function if we didn't take their 20% of our car market. They send us hundreds of thousands of cars. They make a lot of money with that. They send us a lot of other things that we don't need. We don't need their cars, and we don't need the other products. We don't need their milk. We got a lot of milk. We got a lot of everything, and we don't need any of it. So I said to him, well, why are we doing it? He said, I don't really know. He was unable to answer the question, but I can answer it. We're doing it because of habit, and we're doing it because we like our neighbors, and we've been good neighbors, but we can't do it forever, and it's a tremendous amount of money. And why should we have a $200 billion deficit and add on to that many, many other things that we give them in terms of subsidy? And I said, that's okay to have if you're a state. But if you're another country, we don't want to have it. We're not going to have it. I would love to see Canada be the 51st state. The Canadian citizens, if that happened, would get a very big tax cut, tremendous tax cut, because they're very highly taxed. And you wouldn't have to worry about military. You wouldn't have to worry about many of the things. You'd have better health coverage. You'd have much better health coverage. So I think the people of Canada would like it, if it's explained.
What started as a joke during Trudeau's visit to Mar-a-Lago, where Trump even referred to him as the governor of Canada. This has been repeated so many times that it's become a serious issue for Canada. Now, after Canada hit back with its own tariffs, Trump went on Truth Social, claiming that the U.S. subsidizes Canada and doesn't need anything from it. Without U.S. support, Canada wouldn't survive as a country. He even wrote, without this massive subsidy, Canada ceases to exist as a viable country. Harsh but true. Therefore, Canada should become our cherished 51st state, and no tariffs. And this is where things get weird. Are these tariffs really about trade, or is this part of a bigger push to challenge Canada's independence? From the start, Canada and Trudeau have completely rejected this idea. But now, Trump's tariffs have only reinforced a sense of national unity against him. And here's the bigger picture. If a close ally like Canada is being blackmailed with tariffs to give up its sovereignty, what does this say to other U.S. allies? What kind of demands might they face if they want to avoid economic pressure? This isn't just a Canada issue, it's a global warning. This tariff war isn't just about economics, it's about power, influence, and how far each side is willing to go. Trump sees this as part of a bigger America First strategy. Trudeau sees it as an attack on Canada's independence. And everyday Americans and Canadians will feel the real impact. With retaliatory tariffs now in play, the next few weeks will determine whether this escalates into a full-blown trade war or if back-channel diplomacy pulls both sides back from the brink. Either way, this is one of the biggest tests of U.S.-Canada relations in modern history. But now, things have taken a turn. Just hours ago, Justin Trudeau posted on X, formerly Twitter, that tariffs are delayed by 30 days from both sides. This is what he said. After a call with Trump, Canada is pausing the tariffs for 30 days. We are now reinforcing border security and cracking down on fentanyl with new funding. In return, Trump has agreed to hold off on his tariffs for now. That's it for this one. If you like this video, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Also, hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.